Hello, I'm Prashant Ziskind, and welcome to Nelson Today. For tonight's show, we have as our guest Gary Ockenden, who is the Regional Director of the local Red Cross. And we'd like to welcome being with us this evening. Welcome, Gary, to our studio. And I hear that you're fairly new in this particular position.
Yes, the job has been in place for less than a year, and I moved to Nelson with my family for this job, for the regional director job, although I've been in the area before.
Where were you moving from?
We moved back to BC from the Toronto area in Ontario.
Aha, an Easterner.
Yeah, a refugee.
A refugee, as so many seem to be these days. But you've certainly been with the Red Cross for a good deal of time.
I've worked for the Red Cross for about 7 years, most of it in Ontario and 1 year overseas.
Well, welcome to the Kootenays.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. So what brought you out this way? Did you request to come out west, or?
Well, it was a combination really of deciding with my family that we wanted to move to the interior of BC from Ontario if an opportunity came up. And also the job in the Red Cross was something I was interested in itself and excited to get. But I had to make some effort. I had to apply for it and get it and then move here.
I see. So you had mentioned that there were some changes as far as the administration of the Red Cross was concerned. They've used to be administrated from a central office in Toronto, and that plan has changed?
Well, actually, in BC, the different things that the Red Cross does across the province and in the Yukon have been administered and managed almost entirely from a central office in Vancouver. And this job and this regional concept was created just in the last year or two to move staff, offices, vehicles, resources out towards the communities, which created the opportunity for me. But the point of it was to have all the different Red Cross activities be closer to the people that use them or involved in them.
Well, that's great. So I think, I know for one, when I think of the Red Cross, kind of what I think of is war and casualties and ambulances with Red Crosses on them helping wounded soldiers. I assume that you do other things during peacetime as well.
I think you're the first person that hasn't said the first thing they think of is blood, but usually war is second. But basically the Red Cross movement, which is just 125 years old this year, was founded by a Swiss person around the idea of having neutral volunteers help wounded soldiers. So that is the roots of it. But fortunately in Canada we haven't had too many wounded soldiers or war on our land to worry about.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, although the Red Cross was founded in Canada during the Riel battles back in the 1880s.
I see.
The concept. So most of the countries in the world that formed a Red Cross basically had to initially think of ways to keep active between wars. And for us, fortunately, our assistance in time of war has really been on other countries' soil, although the Red Cross here is very involved even today in assistance in areas of conflict.
Well, I know that you've brought us a video, a short video, which tells about the functions of the Red Cross today, the differing functions of the Red Cross today, and perhaps this would be the time that we could roll that so people could see what the modern Red Cross is up to, and we could talk a little bit about it after that.
Sure.
Could we have that film then, please?
Okay,
So-
that's about 3.5 minutes there.
Yeah, okay. So we'll assume the film is rolling now,
Okay.
and we're gonna,
Okay, stand by to come back in.
right. Okay, I'm gonna take a moment here.
Just a second.
Well, that was quite a video. So the Red Cross is definitely keeping itself very busy in peacetime.
That's
it
for sure.
Seems. I noticed a couple of things that were interesting to me in that film that I didn't know about the Red Cross. And I wanted to ask you about it. I think, as you say, people are more familiar with the fact that the blood donations and serving casualties in war, and perhaps even first aid, teaching people first aid and CPR and things like that. What I didn't know was that some of the services offered by the Red Cross almost seem to cross into the territories of other social service agencies. For instance, there was some footage in that video about seniors being helped. There was some mention about veterans being helped. There was talk about helping different countries in their development, which almost sounded to me like a Peace Corps kind of thing. Could you tell me about those aspects of the Red Cross that aren't known as quite as much?
Well, in Canada, there are three things that every Red Cross local, regional, provincial group has to address. One is support the international movement around the assistance to people in times of war, which again is more familiar Red Cross role, and disaster. The other is to be prepared for emergencies and disasters in Canada. And the third is the blood program. So those are mandatory for any Red Cross group to be part of. After that, in Canada, we will basically develop things to meet needs if they are there. So in various parts of Canada, we have programming for seniors. We loan wheelchairs and other equipment at no cost to people out of hundreds of communities in Canada. And these are things that were discovered to be needs that weren't being met. And if they are being met somewhere, we don't do them. So they're not universal. And internationally, I think the development role really has come about for the same reason it has for so many other organizations, that we recognize in the movement that you have to help people when there's been an earthquake or there's a famine or there's a typhoon. I mean, food, shelter, survival is what counts, but the roots of a lot of these problems can be addressed also, and they are longer term development issues. So within the Red Cross network of countries involved, that aspect has started to take much more of a role. So we'll go in to help, as I was in Sudan with famine relief, but we've also begun working on water projects and village development projects, things that might make a difference in the long run.
That's great, that's great. Let's turn our attention a little bit here closer to home.
Sure.
In what ways is the Red Cross involved in our particular area in Nelson, and in what ways can people perhaps volunteer their services to help your organization?
Sure. It's a pretty active group in Nelson, actually. I think there's 50 or 60 volunteers involved. There's a blood donor clinic here once a year, and it's May 31st this year. Signs will be up soon and that kind of thing. Okay. And they go after 350 units in one day, 350 donors, which is a pretty good contribution. We do have an office here that operates out of the Slumber Lodge, and volunteers do run the loan service for equipment. There is opportunity to learn about first aid programming going on. People are involved here in raising funds and doing education projects on our international work, and we train people to be part of our response teams for emergency services. So those are just some examples. The pool here, the swimming courses are Red Cross programs. So really there's a lot of ways people could get involved and may know about it already without having thought that, hey, that's the Red Cross at the pool.
Great. Well, I'd like to get it out to the people who are watching if they're interested in joining in some way. Would they contact you? Do you have a phone number?
I'll give people my phone number and say that specifically right now we are looking for a small group of people to help us develop our international programming throughout the region. So if that hits anyone's fancy, please call me. But if they're interested in anything we're doing, they can call me at 365-3911 office hours. The regional office is in Castlegar. Okay. Or I'm happy to be called at home if that's useful, 352-7305.
Great, that's good to know. You talk about the international aspects of Red Cross. What's happening on the international scene that people in our local area could impact?
Well, we're really trying hard right now to raise funds primarily to support a very large effort both in Ethiopia right now, where there's 4 million people at risk of starvation this spring and summer. And we also have a very large effort in Romania, where the International Red Cross has gone in and is basically picking up the pieces of an already shambles healthcare system. So those are fundraising opportunities, but people who would like to learn about that and help come up with ways to support it or help us educate people to what's going on or provide information are welcome to get involved with those two particular efforts.
That does bring up a question I wanted to ask, and that was about how you are, as an organization, how you're funded. Is that primarily through fundraising activities or governmental funding?
No, other than the blood collection program, which is about 80% government funded, almost all of our activities in BC and in Nelson, for example, are supported by either United Way's or our own fundraising efforts. In Nelson, we're members of the United Way, and that's the main support here. The international work, on the other hand, when people give money for Ethiopian relief or Romanian medical help, all of that donation is used for that. We guarantee 100% of it will be used, and none of it's used to run the organization.
I see. So does Nelson have a fairly large contingent already? How many people are paid staff here, and how many people are volunteer?
At this point, actually, there's 2 paid staff for the entire Kootenay area, myself and a person that works with me, so everything else is volunteer. And in the whole region, we have about 500 active volunteers and then 2 employees. In Nelson, as I said, it's all volunteer in town locally, and I think 50 or 60 people that are involved quite regularly.
Great.
But there's room for more.
So there's room, plenty of room for everyone to come in and help out.
If they're interested, yes.
If they're interested. Thank you, Gary, for being with us tonight. Would you like to tell those 2 phone numbers again, just one more time?
Okay, the regional office is 365-3911, and the home number would be 352-7305.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
That's a pleasure.
So I'm sorry, I've goofed this all up because I couldn't remember what we were supposed to do next.